Reading the Bible is exciting. It's also a challenge because some of the history behind these documents are 2,000 to 4,000 years old. Of course, they were written halfway around the world and in 3 different languages. I want to give us a set of specific tools to help us read and understand the words on the page. We're focusing on the words on the page right now. And again, my goal in this is the old adage that says, catch a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but teach a man a fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So right now, these tools are not talking about the culture behind the text yet. We're just helping you to understand the meaning of the words on the page. All of these resources that we're going to give you are free nowadays on websites and apps, which is pretty amazing because I spent hundreds of dollars for those huge volumes and those written materials back in the day, and now you get them for free, and that's pretty cool. I'll end the video by giving you my personal go-to resource for looking up technical information about the scriptures. So let's get started. The first tool that I want to give us, if you could even call it a tool, is the text in the original language. I literally have a Hebrew Bible at home, and some people have the Greek scriptures at home as well. Now, obviously, most people aren't reading their daily devotions in Hebrew, but if you're heading into any scholarly field, you're primarily going to be working in the original languages, in the original text, and what's amazing is we have those. You can actually go to those yourself. So the first texts in the original language, and that's our first tool. The second tool that I want to give us is what we call interlinear. What I mean by that is it shows both languages over top of each other. It's like the Rosetta Stone, so that you can actually see language to language match as you're reading the text. So if, for example, you were to go to BibleHub.com and click on the button for Interlinear, which is right in the middle of the browser, the very first verse in the whole Bible is Genesis chapter 1, and I'll just show you what this looks like. Of course, Hebrew is reading from right to left. Right in the middle, you'll see the Hebrew words that you probably can't read, reading from right to left. Right above it is the transliteration. In other words, they're taking the sounds of that Hebrew word and putting them into English. Bereshit bara Elohim eth hashemayim ve'eth haaretz. So that's literally what it sounds like. Even if you couldn't read the Hebrew language, you could say those words by reading transliteration. And right above the transliteration is this number that you see. That number is the exact number that has been assigned to the Hebrew word in that language. And that just helps you, if you don't know Hebrew or Greek, that you got the right word that we're talking about, the same thing. Right underneath the Hebrew language, you'll see the English. So again, reading right to left, you'll notice that the Hebrew sentence structure just sounds a little bit different than the English sentence structuring. So it says, in the beginning created God the heavens and the earth. Now that one wasn't too terrible, but in other verses it becomes really clear. So right here you see the Hebrew and the English on top of each other, and that's the primary thing that I wanted to show us in the interlinear. Now, before we talk about specific words and their meaning, let me give you tool number 3. Tool number 3 is different translations. Most of us grew up reading the King James Version. My pappy still prays to God in the King James Version. And I grew up reading the NIV version, which is 400 years later from the King James Version. What I want us to hear is the Greek and the Hebrew haven't changed, but the English language and English culture and the way that we use the English language has changed over the last 400 years. Different translations help us to understand the text. They're taking Greek and Hebrew and they're helping us in English understand the meaning of what the author is communicating. So a translator has to make difficult decisions. Think if even a Spanish translator were sitting right here taking my words and putting them into Spanish, and I used the phrase, go break a leg. How does the Spanish translator translate that? I mean, if they do it literally, word for word, that phrase would mean nothing to somebody in their culture. They would think that I'm insulting them, that they would have a bad day, or a calamity would happen to them. No, actually in our culture, go break a leg means I hope that you do really well. So the translator is forced to grapple with, do I translate this word for word, which doesn't mean anything to our culture, or do I give them the general idea, thought for thought? Are we trying to be literal, or are we trying to communicate the meaning? That's the tension that translations have to grapple with. And there's an entire spectrum of word for word, thought for thought, that you can even Google Bible translation spectrum, and you'll see a whole graph, and you can even find probably the translation that you're reading and where it falls in that whole spectrum of word for word, thought for thought. If you go to BibleGateway.com and, for example, type in Romans chapter 8, verse 5, and we pulled up, over here is the button for add a parallel. If you click that, and so now I have two translations side by side. I have the New American Standard Bible, which is very literal, or word for word. And then over here on the right, I have the New Living Translation, which is more of a thought for thought. It's on the other side of the spectrum. And so I just wanted to literally read this same verse in both of these translations, and you'll get a feel for how differently they just feel to you. Romans 8:5 says, for those who are according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who are according to the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. That's the New American Standard Bible. The New Living Translation says it this way, those who are dominated by the sinful nature think about sinful things, but those who are controlled by the Holy Spirit think about things that please the Spirit. You can just already feel how differently those texts feel. Again, the NASB is very literal, but the New Living Translation is more thought for thought. It's more smooth because the translator has actually done some of the interpretation work to you, the audience, and made it easy to read for you. I don't think there's any perfect translation, and we can utilize different translations for different reasons. Sometimes if I'm doing more of a technical study, I look at more literal translations. Sometimes if I just want to get the feeling of a psalm or the general idea, I'll read a thought for thought translation like the New Living Translation. Or if I just want to hear it from a different voice, I'll pull up a different translation. We've written articles about translations on our blog, and you can find the link to that in our show notes. If we want to look at a variety of translations, I usually use BibleGateway.com on my computer when I'm working on my computer, or if I'm on my phone, I'll just use the Holy Bible app, and they've got literally over 60 translations that you can access there as well. The fourth tool to help you understand the words on the page is a lexicon. A lexicon is basically a dictionary of the words in their original language, but the explanation in the English. For example, the common word that a lot of people use, agape, is the Greek word. Well, I can't read Greek, but that's the Greek word, and then they give you the English definition. Now, to get there, to utilize a lexicon, it's just a little bit trickier. So let me, again, take you on a little bit of a journey. Let's say that you have been reading in your devotions James chapter 2, and you come across James chapter 2, verse 20, and the back half of that verse says, faith without deeds is useless. So there's three potent words here. Faith without deeds is useless. What are all three of those things in their original language? I want to look that up. So let's go to blueletterbible.com. And when I go to blueletterbible.com, I'm just going to come over here and click on the translation that I want to use and type in James 2 verse 20. And this is what comes up. Now I'm in James 2:20, and it takes a little bit of time to navigate this website. But if you were to click on that again, I have an interlinear drop down, and you'll see the words. Now I'm going to toggle so that it's reading left to right this time. Interlinear, left to right this time. James chapter 2, verse 20, you'll see the Greek here all in one fluid script. I can't read that. My expertise is more in Hebrew. So I'm as good as you as when it comes to the Greek. But James 2:20, there's the Greek, and then here left to right, it says, interlinear, you'll see, it says, are you willing but to recognize, you fellow foolish, that faith without works useless, ? Is. Obviously the Greek sentence structure is different from English, but let's just focus in on those words. We said faith without, and then down here you'll see the word for useless. Let's just look that one up. It's kind of English. There's the English. There's the Greek, you'll see underneath it. There's the transliteration. There's the word G692 for that Greek word. Let's just click on that G692. And now what we've pulled up here, you'll see it gives us all kinds of information. And you can go as technical or as broad as you want. It gives us the part of speech, it's an adjective, all of the ways that it's tensed. We're not going to look at any of that. You'll look down here, it says the outline of biblical usage. That's probably what most of us want to see, how it's used biblically. And then you'll see down here, it says Thayer's Greek Lexicon. Now that's why I brought you here to begin with. And if I were to click on Show All in the Thayer's Greek Lexicon, what it pulls up is a lot of technical information for those of you that want to see all of this. There's the Greek word. You can even see how Aristotle and other Greek classics have used it. They're talking about all that in this opening paragraph. You get down and here they're giving you the technical definition. Free from labor. Useless means free from labor or at leisure. And then a second definition, lazy. Shunning the labor which ones ought to perform. You can see that it was used in the Homer and the Iliad. These are all classic Greek usages of it. And then the Bible uses it in that way in James 2:20 and so on and so forth. There is a lot of technical information here. But I just want to show you this lexicon and the way that it can be utilized in your study to help you see the meaning of these words in their original language. So have fun with that. That's the lexicon. The fifth resource that I want to give you in helping you understand the words on the page is a concordance. Now, I brought my actual print concordance here, and you can see how thick this thing is and why it's so cool that we have all of these resources at our fingertips for free on the internet. Now, what does a concordance do? A concordance shows you every time a particular word is used in Hebrew or in Greek. And so again, if we were to go to our computer and look this up in Blue Letter Bible, and we were in James chapter 2, verse 20, so we'll just stay right there. And we clicked on the word useless, so let's click on useless again. And when useless pops up, you'll see we were over on the second column, on the left column earlier, but now we're in the second column, or the right column here. And you'll see Strong's number, here's G692, matches the Greek word argos, which occurs, and they tell us, 8 times in 7 verses. So this, and it says in this particular Greek manuscript. And so then they literally list all 8 times underneath that verse shows up in the English translation. Let's go back one click to James 2:20 again. Find, for example, if we wanted to look up that word faith, it's a totally different story. So faith matches up, Strong's G4102 matches the Greek word for pistis, which occurs 243 times in 227 verses in this particular Greek manuscript. And we scroll down and we're scrolling. It's listing every single time that word is used. We're still scrolling, and this is just the first entry. And there's 5 whole entries all the way to Revelation 14:12. From Matthew 8:10 to Revelation 14:12, you can look up every single one of those references when that particular Greek word was used in the scriptures that we have. This is a really helpful tool. You may have heard pastors or scholars say, well, that's a very common word in the Greek, or that's a very peculiar word. It's only used this many times in the Bible. Well, this is exactly the tool that enables them to know those details and equips you to know those details as well. A concordance can help you find certain words in the Bible quickly. All 5 of these tools, the original texts, the interlinear, the translations, the lexiconal dictionary, and the concordance are available to you for free on multiple websites such as BibleHub.com, BlueLetterBible.com, or StudyLight.org. And of course, you have to get familiar with how to navigate those on different platforms. I personally utilize all of these. I utilize multiple Bible apps on my phone, but the one that I use for my technical reading, so when I want to actually read the Bible at home, I'm in a hard copy Bible, but I use my phone for all of these resources because then I don't have to pull out 5 heavy books on my couch as I'm reading the Bible. And the one that I go to the most is Blue Letter Bible, the app on my phone, the Blue Letter Bible app, for free. I don't subscribe to it. It's there for you. You can access all of this information. You can get as technical as you want or stay as broad as you want, but these things help us to read and understand the text of the scriptures in our devotional times. In this video, we talked about the words on the page. In the next video, I want to give you some resources every Christian should be aware of to help you understand the culture and history behind the words on the page. Those resources will help the Bible text come alive. The more you read the Bible, the more you get to know Jesus, and he's totally worth it.